Hello and welcome back to the Kitchen Table Modelers Workshop. My name's Ian, it's my kitchen table we're doing my modelling. Today, after a bit of an absence, been really busy at work, home, Christmas, festive period, so I've not had much time to get on the bench and on the kitchen table and do some filming. I've now got a bit of time and quite a bit of stuff I'd like to try and get through, so I thought I'd get on and do a review of one of the kits I managed to pick up recently, Panda Hobby's M109A7 Paladin self-propelled gun. It's an interesting kit. There's been a number of different companies that have made an M109. Tamiya have done one, which I think was a reboxing of Italieri kit, very nice kit. And AFV Club have done a beautiful M109A6, which I've actually built in the past, and it's a stunning model. However, this Panda Hobby's kit is the only tooling available of the M109A7, which is the most up-to-date of the M109 Paladin family. Unfortunately, Panda Hobbies is no more. They went defunct just at the end of 2021, I believe, which is a shame. However, you can still pick this kit up online. I got this through eBay, but there are other sellers that are still stocking it, so there's still quite good stocks out there at the moment. And I thought, well, cheap price, I'll pick it up and see,
as always,
see what like it is. So,
beautiful,
enough waffling for me. Let's get the box on the table and got a picture of the Paladin in the field with one of the ammunition replenishment vehicles in the background. Yes, it's a 1/35th scale. Kit number PH is 35028. So yeah. What have we got here? Classic scale series. Detailed scale models for adult collector, not a toy for modelers age 14 and over. Bear that in mind. These Panda, I've built Panda before, and they're not for beginners. They're not, maybe for intermediate, but if you're a bit more advanced, then you shouldn't have a problem. The box contains parts to make one model kit. Contains functional, sharp-edged, and points. Well, there's your safety advice. Actual model may vary from the image in the box. So 14 plus, we've got some PE parts, photo etch parts included. If we look at the side, then we've got A and B schemes. It doesn't actually tell you what regiment or division those vehicles are part of. We've got copyright 2019, so it's quite a new kit. All rights reserved, made in China. Same again on the end, and then we've got a bit of blurb on this side of the box. So M109A7 Paladin self-propelled howitzer. We've got the generic for 14 years and over, and not suitable for children under the age of 3 years old. So that's all the safety stuff. Now, as I was saying in the intro there, Panda are no longer. I believe they were a parent partner company with Kitty Hawk models. And I think they went out of business at the end of 2021, which is a real shame, because although the kits were challenging to build, I'll say that, they still built up to be really good models, and they had a lot of unusual subjects, or like this one, contemporary subjects that I believe quite a lot of folk would be interested in. So I hope that one of the other Chinese companies maybe picks up the molds and carries the kits on. If not, I'd say grab them whilst you can. If you're interested in these things, I mean, certainly if you want an up-to-date A7 model Paladin, this is the only kit in town for it at the moment, unless there's update sets for the venerable AFV Club A6 model, which, you know, I've said before, I've built before. It's a beautiful model, but we're not looking at that. We're looking at Panda. So let's have the lid off and see what we get in the box. Well, here we go. We have got a little envelope, which I'm not sure what's in there. Possibly a figure, maybe, by the feel of it. We've got lovely colour instructions and a box full of plastic. So, oh, and look at that, a box full of metal tracks. Bonus. Wow. Okay. So, there's the instructions now. See, There we go, get that in frame, that's good. So the usual read before assembly stuff, and your icons here for your construction process. If we can start, here we go. So we've got a picture of the sprue trees, decals, photo etch parts, track parts. So you've got track links, a guide horn and a pin. And then on to part 1 here, which is start to assemble the lower hull. So you've got the final drives going on and some small pieces, I'm not quite sure what they are, but they're obviously something to do with the running gear. You've then going on to the front of the glacis, where you're putting on toe end horns, lights, mud flaps. Some of these parts you might want to consider leaving off until after you've constructed the running gear. They won't get in the way if they're off, so it might make it easier. Again, that's modeller's choice. And then reasonably quickly, step 3, we're getting the upper hull joined to the lower hull, so you're going to actually get something sizable to work with, which is really good. So parts 4, 5, 6, you're constructing the drive sprockets, idler wheels and road wheels. And then you're moving on to the suspension arms and dampers, which then are getting joined to the hull. Obviously it's not going to be a working suspension, which isn't a problem, but what I would say is it's quite cluttered here, so pay particular attention to which step goes where, because you've got step 6, 4 of, and you've got step 6, 3, and you've got step 5, so you need to make sure that you've got 6, 2, 3, 4 and 5, so make sure you pay attention to get the wheels in the right place, otherwise you really will have a problem. So a bit tricky, but doable. From step 7 then we move on to 8, which is the construction of the rear of the vehicle with the rear entrance door. Again, rear mud flaps might be worth leaving them off until the last minute once you've finished it all, just to make it easier to get the tracks and everything on. You've got outside the rear door and inside of the rear door, so there is the option of showing it open, and if you can get a detail set for the interior, then you may even want to go the whole hog and do a full diorama. But anyway, so options, open or closed, that's up to you. And then we're constructing the track. It doesn't seem to indicate you need to glue anything, and it would appear that it all goes nicely together. You may have to glue on the guide horns by the looks of it, I'm not sure, but I'm sure it won't be too much of a problem. But anyway, 85 sections per side, and with it being metal tracks, you're going to get a real proper genuine sag on them, and it'll give you a bit of weight to the model, which is fine. Step 12, we're starting to move on. We've got the driver's hatch, we've got some of the possibly incoming fire detection system. Step 13, we're carrying on with starting to put side skirts on, and other sort of small odds and sods. I'm not even going to try and tell you what they are because I don't actually know. I'm not overly up on some of the modern vehicle stuff, but it's small detail parts. Then we're stowing on spare track links, and again it looks like D35, so it's possibly going to be styrene parts we're putting on for the spare track links rather than using spare white metal ones. 15, 16, 17, we're then moving on to the gun lock for the travel position. Now, if it says open or closed, depending on how you want to build it, I'm sure if you're quite careful with glue or you're good with drilling and pinning, you may actually be able to make this operational. I know when I built the AFV Club one, I managed to make it operational, so you could decide how you wanted to stow it. So gun lock goes on, light covers go on, and then we're looking to build the rear stowage bin for the rear of the turret. Part 21, we're moving on with aerial base, antenna bases. These 22 and 23 are the side stowage bins for the rear of the turret. And then we are putting on the rest of the parts to it, and it shows you can have it open or closed depending on how you want to stow it, which is fine. 25, we're starting to move on to parts for the side of the turret, storage parts for the side of the turret, and also you've got decisions on which holes to be drilled in advance for the commander's 50 cal machine gun. So more stowage and Pioneer tools going on, gun cleaning rods, water tanks, fuel tanks, applique armour going on. We've got the upper hatches going on, more antenna bases going on. We've got the gun sighting system going on, the front, another rear hatch going on, and some rear detailed parts. So I mean the instructions are quite clearly laid out. Hold it turned over, working through more water or fuel tanks, ammunition canisters, Pioneer tools, commander's hatch, identification friend or foe boards, armoured side panel, and then we're moving on to the mantlet section of the gun. Then we've got open mode and closed mode, so firing and travelling. Again, it's up to the modeler to decide how they want to model this vehicle. It looks quite impressive in the firing mode, and also would look quite impressive in the travelling mode, especially if you had it maybe on the back of a relevant tank transporter or such like. Turret base goes on turret top, a few more bits going on for the gun mantlet assembly, and then we're starting to put on the bottom of the gun and the accumulators for the recoil system. Some armour plating going over those. One final bit of armour plate there, C14, and then we move into a two-piece barrel. Now I'm quite sure there will be a turned aluminium barrel available, possibly for the AFV kit, and it may well fit this kit. However, the size of a 155 howitzer barrel is huge, so it shouldn't be too hard to clean down the seam lines and get yourself a really tasty looking barrel when you finish. Just a little bit of time and work, which is what modelers should be able to do. Moving on to 41, building up the 50 cal. 42, you're building up the 50 cal grenade launcher with a short barrel like that, I should imagine. 43, 44, again you're on to, well, basically 43 through to 47, it looks to be sort of a remote operable 50 cal system with infrared lighting and remote sighting, so that will be interesting to build. That then goes on to 48, 49, 50, right through to part 51, so that's quite a number of steps just for the one machine gun. And then here at 52, you've got this three different options to the machine gun as to what you want to put on. So back to wherever it was when we first started working with the turret. Here in step 25, be cognizant of what you want to do, because you need to drill the holes then for step 50, so you've got to work quite a way in advance. So it will pay to read through these instructions before you actually start building the kit. Step 35, finish, well, step bottom of 52, as well as putting the gun on, you're attaching the rear ammunition storage to the turret. And then step 53, the vehicle's complete, and there is an overall picture of what you should get. Excellent. It's quite a long-winded construction process, however it's a big model and there's lots of parts. So let's have a look and see what's what. So I can't wait anymore. I'm going to have a look and see what's in this envelope. As you can see, I've not opened it. So it's fresh as fresh can be. And as I thought, it is a figure. A really quite a nice resin figure. I'm going to leave it in the bag, but for 35th scale, it's actually really nice. Comes with a 155 projectile, and judging by his hand poses, he's carrying that, and there's a little detent in his front where it's resting against him, so that's obviously a figure ready to either load or replenish the gun system. Excellent. Right, well, I may as well start with the lower hull. I need a pair of scissors because these bags are sealed. Now, I'll be quite honest with you, I like bathtub holes. Takes the guesswork out of it. As long as they're not warped, there shouldn't be a problem. So, Nice, hard, crisp Hasegawa S plastic with beautiful, beautiful detail. The bolt heads are crisply molded, the recesses are nice and even, and yeah, the relief of all this is really good. There's a couple of mold seams here and here on the edges of the final drives that would need to be removed, but a few side ejector pins, but they're in not too much of a worry in place. A wee snip with a pair of good sharp snippers and sand and stick will soon clear that away. And if we look inside and catch it in the light, you can see Panda Hobby 2019. So there's the lower hull, and then we move on to the upper hull. Again, beautiful detail. So you've got all the applique armor down the sides, already molded. Really, really fine bolt head details. Take a wash beautifully. Very, very fine louvers on the engine cooling areas. It looks that there's going to be no, like a traditional Tamiya where you've got cutouts for a lock-in and turn system. This looks to be just a simple place-on turret system, so care might need to be taken because the turret will fall off unless you fix it in place. So that's something to think about if you want to have it movable or repositionable, or you just want to stow it in one place. There's even the non-slip detail molded into, if you can see that, into the whole plates, and it's beautifully in scale and will take a wash lovely. Right, let's have a look. Seems we've got the big parts open first. Here's the turret bag. I'll just snip the rear of the bag. Right, turret again, beautifully, beautifully molded. You can see that in the light. You've got all the little tie down details. You've got around the hatches, on the top, you've got handles, you've got tie downs. They are absolutely exquisitely molded. Really, really nicely molded. Same on this side, you've got the applique armor panels, and this will be specific to the A7 Paladin because on the A6 it doesn't have this extra armor on the turret. But that is lovely. Now, having built the AFV Club, I would say this is definitely detail-wise on a par with the AFV Club, and AFV are renowned for the level of detail they put into their kits. The rear turret bustle, a little bit flashy, but absolutely nothing I'm going to worry about. Again, hinge detail for the swingway baskets is beautiful. You've got some anti-slip on the top, and all the raised bolt detail is absolutely beautiful and very in scale. So I'm actually really chuffed with that. That's going to make a beautiful model. If I remember rightly, I think it probably goes on something like that to the back. This makes quite a large turret. Now, there is a bag full of clear parts. I'm not going to take it out. They're very clear. The biggest clear part here is part 3, which you can see through, and that will be the glass for the gunner's sighting unit. And then you've got your optics for the drivers, and then you've got small lenses, individual lenses for road driving lights and such like, and they're all beautifully clear and crisp, but I'm going to leave them in the bag because I don't want to risk getting them scratched. We'll do the tracks last. Right, next bag we have a bag of 3, so I will remove 1 sprue. So this is a bag that contains all the parts necessary for the running gear. By the looks of it, set that to one side. So this is Sprue D. So what have we got? Again, we've got beautiful fine detail. If we can get that to focus, there we go. Beautiful fine detail. We've got the final drives again with lovely recessed detail. Really, really in scale. Not huge lumbering bolts. They're very finely molded with a great bit of finesse. We've got lifting eyes, antenna bases, and then we've got individual track for stowage on the hull, and then we've got the road wheel arms, the suspension arms. Yeah, really quite nice. Yeah, I'm impressed with that. Again, it's still consistently nice crisp plastic. So you've got 3 sprues in there, they're all the same. From there we're moving on to Spruce C. So there's not actually a huge amount in this box because there's only another big sprue after this. So Spruce C, that contains, get it out, there we go. So Spruce C, oh, there we go, you can see it all. That contains, we've got the rear of the hull, we've got hatches, we've got side skirts, which should be rubber side skirts, we've got light protectors, we've got antennas here, and gun lock mechanism, that's for the back of the rear turret bustle, and then we've got some incoming fire warning detectors here as well. So as before, the detail is beautifully crisp, really finely moulded, beautifully reliefed where the bolts are. You can feel them when you rub your finger over. They're really, really finely moulded. You've got springs here on the gun lock mechanism, the front mud flaps, again beautifully moulded, and it's all got fine connection points to the sprue, so it's not going to take loads to cut the parts off, and it's going to reduce the cleanup. And looking around it as well, there's no flash. There is very minimal burring, obviously quite new mold, so there shouldn't be much burring, but all in all it should be easy to get the parts off, clean them up and get them on the model. Right, this is the part that we've all been waiting for. This is Sprue E. And let's have a look. Now this is the biggest sprue, and this is the important one because it's got gun barrel parts on it. Now they look to be beautifully moulded. Really, really lovely moulded. You've got the rear of the gun mantlet where the accumulators are. There is the actual mantlet where it swivels. These parts here are 2 parts that come together to give you your cover for the gun aimer's sight mechanism. Parts for the side stowage bins. We've got hatches. We've got the bodies for the 50 cal systems and a 50 cal, which, if we look carefully, and I can get the camera to focus, has been slide molded, so you don't even have to drill out the barrel. It's already done for you. There we go. Let's get you a focus there. That's it. Fantastic. And it looks beautiful. The detail does look absolutely beautiful. Really well molded, very much in scale. Again, minimal bits of flash. If you can see that on the hinges. Nothing that can't clean up with a swipe of a scalpel blade or a bit of a sanding stick. I don't see any problems in building this whatsoever. So from the sprues we then move on to the photo etch. So we have got photo etch grills, we have a tow cable, we have other possibly clamps or hinges maybe, and on the other side we've got another piece of photo etch and a very, very small decal sheet. Again, I'm not going to take it out, it's just stencils and US stars. It doesn't actually tell you, I don't think, what division or company these gun system operated in. Painting guide, well, as with a lot of modern US vehicles, it is just overall desert sand. I'm sure if you look at your sources on the internet, you'll be able to find this in other colours and other markings, and there probably are aftermarket decals available for it. But yeah, again, there's no units, it's just overall colour, US desert sand, and then your little detail painting. Right, finally we have got the tracks. Come in a nice plastic box all together, and it is taped shut. So let's be adventurous, cut the tape and hope that this will stay together. I'll probably retape it when I'm finished. Alright, let's pop this. Now, I have never worked, I'll be honest with you, I've never worked with metal tracks before. However, these appear to be quite nice ones. I don't know if I can grab a pin out. Yes, we can. A pin. So there's a track. Let's see if we can do this live on camera. There's a pin. Pin does go cleanly through the track. Let's see if we can't join two together. So, pin in and drop track. There we go. I am doing this live on camera, so you must forgive me. These things are tiny, and as you can see, I've got huge monster hands, so it's not the easiest sometimes to get these small parts together, but that's slid together lovely. Pin in all the way through, which it does. Now I'm assuming the pin will need to be driven in to secure it, and it may be that it goes in one side or the other, because the end of the pin is slightly oversized. However, as you can see, it goes together lovely. The tracks articulate. It would appear you have to glue the guide horns on with a drop of super glue. However, if I use the scissors, if you look on this track here, there is enough space, if you're very careful, just to put a drop of super glue either side of the guide horn, and it shouldn't interfere with the pin. In fact, no, I'm speaking out of my rear end. If you look at the pad for the guide horn where the pin is molded into the track, then you can glue there, which will then leave the actual sliding pin free for the track to articulate. So it shouldn't be a problem to make these tracks up. It's just going to take quite a bit of time. But they look really nice. They're all clear of flash. There's absolutely no ejector pins. I'm assuming they're all in there. There's a bag here that contains all the guide horns. They are hollow, which is what they should be, so they're accurate. And the bonus is it all came in the kit. Now, a set of white metal tracks is going to cost you in the region of 35 to 40 UK pounds. Now, I didn't even pay that for this kit, so
there we are.
Yeah, absolute bonus from Panda Hobby.
Panda Hobby's M109A7
Let's get them back
Paladin self-propelled gun system.
Thoughts? Well, I'm quite excited about it, to be honest with you. It comes across as being a well-constructed kit. There's not just a huge amount of parts. I didn't actually see in the instruction how many parts it is, and it doesn't actually tell you on the box. But you've got a set of 3 sprues, and then only another couple of sprues after that. So I can imagine the construction should go together quite easy. It comes with a nice bit of photo etch, which is excellent. It's a bang up-to-date molding, 2019. It also comes with white metal tracks, which is a huge bonus. As I said in the sort of on-bench review part, you on average going to pay between 25, 35 pounds, sometimes 40 pounds, Great British pounds, for a set of white metal tracks for a model of this size. So to have them in the kit and in the kit price is an absolute bargain. Even if it takes a little bit of work to get them together, it's still a bargain in my book. Now, I paid quite a bit less for this kit because I got it on sale. The average retail price at the moment I've seen on eBay is around about the £55 mark, which is quite comparable to the likes of AFV Club and Tamiya. None of those two kits come with a set of white metal tracks. So kudos to Panda for doing that. If it's one of the reasons why they went bust or had to close because they were putting far too much cost in the value of the kit and selling it for bargain basement prices, I don't know. But anyway, it was definitely, or should I say it is definitely worth picking up for anybody that's interested in modern US self-propelled field artillery. You won't find another one of these, and I've not seen an upgrade kit to bring the current round of A6s up to A7 standard. So yeah, I'm sold on it. I think for the value for the money, it's there. For the level of detail, it's there. It may be a little tricky in construction. Having built other Panda kits, they're not the easiest to put together, but once you get it over the finish line, you do get a sense of achievement, and you will have a really nice model, because the ones I have finished have turned out to be really, really nice models, and I would imagine the same will be said for this one. So there we go, Panda's Hobbies, 1/35 scale M109A7, worth a punt. Give it a look. Thanks for watching. If you have any ideas or suggestions or comments, please post them at the bottom of the video. I always read them and I always answer them. I appreciate anyone taking the time to post a comment on the videos. And always, if you'd like to like and subscribe, that's fine. So until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Happy modeling.